there are 3 different styles of block writing that can be used, one more traditional than the other. This is the most common form right here. But the difference in length of letters, as we were just talking about before, which is sort of what you see here, is because all the lines have to be the same length. And so the scribe will write the letters long in order to make it the same length. Does that make sense? There's no pronunciation change in it at all. But that's an interesting point. What don't you see on this scroll at all? If you know Hebrew, what don't you see? Right, there's no mikdot, there's no vowel points at all. And so you can only read it if you have a knowledge of the grammar of the Hebrew, because that's what will tell you what the pointings are going to be. And so it's the length of the letters here is not related to pronunciation, but pronunciation is a very, very major factor in the Torah because there are no vowel points. Just paragraphing. The only difference is in that big gap that we saw just a little bit ago, where there's a difference between the books. So this is Numbers. What do we see in Numbers that's fairly well known? We actually we recite it every Shabbat. That actually comes, love your neighbors as yourself, is from Leviticus. That's Leviticus 19:18. The Aaronic benediction. The Aaronic benediction comes from Numbers. Does anyone know where? Very good. Numbers chapter 6. It's Numbers chapter 6. What?
You should ask what you recite.
Right. Okay, and you will see when we get there that it looks different on the scroll also. Now you notice on the back of this page, right, there's a little patch. It is a repair. You can repair the scroll under one there's only one circumstance in which you cannot repair the scroll itself. And that's if the damaged part contains the name of God, the Yod He Vav He. If and this applies to the writing of the scroll as well. If the scribe makes a mistake, this is parchment, it's animal skin. You can take the ink and scrape the ink off of the parchment and redo it, as long as it doesn't, the error doesn't involve any one of the names of God. Now, that could mean, the Tetragrammaton, Adonai, the Yod He Vav He. That could mean El Shaddai. It could mean Elohim. Any form of the name of God, it would be forbidden to scrape it and redo it. However, if it doesn't involve the name of God, it can be fixed. If it involves the name of God, yes, that page is done. That's correct. In fact, the whole thing doesn't get assembled until all the pages are finished. That's why you see the markings on the back of the pages, so that the scribe will know what order to assemble them in. Generally, no, unless it's a new scribe. This is an interesting portion right here. You see the little section? We do this particular verse during the High Holy Day liturgy when we actually take the Torah out. We say, Vayehi ben so Aharon vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oyevecha, etc., etc. And it came to pass, whenever the ark went forward, Moses would say, Arise, O Lord, and may your enemies be scattered. May those who hate you flee from before you. For the word of the Lord will go forth from Jerusalem, etc., etc. And that's this passage right here. Vayehi ben soah ha'aron, vayomer Moshe, kuma Adonai v'yafusu oyevecha, v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha. That's that passage right there. It is a predetermined length. I'll talk more about that in a little bit when we're finished. There are very specific guidelines for the length of a word, the height of a letter, all that kind of stuff. You know, in Judaism, remember, everything is very, very heavily documented and regulated, and there's nothing left to chance, especially with the Torah scroll. Everything is laid out very much detail. All right, so you see something different in this column right here. Okay. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom. Yeah, all right. The way you read the scroll is from right to left, top to bottom. So you start here reading this way, and at the end of this line, you start again here. So it's all, then you read all the way down.
For those of you on that side, it's doubly confusing because you're at the top of the scroll looking down on the word.
So that is Numbers chapter 6. And what comes right before Numbers? Leviticus. And there we see right there the very end of Leviticus and the beginning of the book of Numbers. This book, the book of Leviticus, is the first book that young Jewish boys are taught in school. From there, they actually jump to the Talmud. You know what? Most scrolls today have some significant history to them. This one came from Germany, so I'm sure it has a lot of history to it. Unfortunately, we don't know a lot about it for many different reasons. No, this is it, I think. Do you remember the story behind it? Yep. Right.
And so they had this whole, they had to have a bit of a fight with it was kind of funny because they were he saw it and it was like stop. But the guy that the security guards.
right?
No, he didn't ask. He was going to walk right